Hey y'all, welcome back to the All About the Tea channel. I want to discuss NeNe leaks today and Bravo's unfair business practices as it relates to people of color at that network.
A website called All About the Tea.
He told All About the Tea that during the fight,
NeNe Leakes may be closing the door on the Real Housewives of Atlanta after appearing on the Bravo reality series for 11 years. NeNe appeared on the Real Housewives of Atlanta from seasons 1 through season 7. Then she took a break for seasons 8 and 9 and returned to the show in season 10 as a full-time housewife, earning a salary of $2.85 million. During season 12, NeNe had a rough time. She feuded with Kenya Moore, Kandi Burruss, Eva Marcel, Cynthia Bailey, and Portia Williams. NeNe made up with Cynthia and Portia and eventually Kandi and Eva mid-season, but eventually fell out with Kandi and Eva by the end of the season. And by the time season 12 reunion filmed, NeNe was on the outs with Kenya, Eva, Kandi, and Cynthia kind of played the fence. They all attacked like a pack of wild pit bulls. I'm pretty passionate about this topic because I don't like how they're doing NeNe over at Bravo. First, it was all the girls versus NeNe, okay, early in the season. Then it was the constant lies Kenya Moore told about NeNe. Then at the reunion, the alliance, as I like to call them, Kenya Moore, Kandi Burruss, Eva Marcel, orchestrated a planned takedown of NeNe. Okay, Stevie Wonder could have seen that. From the start, Andy and production were out to get NeNe with the wardrobe set up. They told the other girls to wear white and told NeNe to wear black so NeNe can show up and look and stand out like the villain.
On a few things that happened. So right before we started the reunion, days before we started the reunion, we sort of rehearsed it as best we could. As far as we picked, they helped us pick our background. Mine was done right here. We had some other things in this area. You couldn't see my TV back there on the wall. So, you know, they knew what our backgrounds would look like prior to going into this situation. And we did this one-on-one, and we also had group Zoom meetings where we could see each other and discuss certain things. Okay. So in one of my meetings, I was asked, what color are you going to wear? And I said that I was going to wear possibly white. So I was told that 2 other people are possibly going to wear white. So you might want to reconsider. And I said, say no more. Absolutely. If 2 other people have are already considering wearing white, I will wear something different. They said, so what colors are you thinking? I said, I'm thinking maybe a royal blue or a pink. And they said, okay, well, those are good colors. And I said, okay. So the night before the reunion, I started to pick things out and lay things around and decide what I was going to wear. I settled on black sequins. And I said, well, I'll just wear black sequins. I felt like it was comfortable. I liked it. The morning of the reunion. Once I arrived at the viral reunion, I noticed that all the girls are wearing white. When I say all the girls, that will mean everyone except for Marlo and Tanya, because they were not on at the time yet. I thought, dang, everybody has on white. That's weird. And then I thought, let me just text Marlo. So I text Marlo. I said, what color are you going to wear? She said, I'm wearing white. And I said, you are? She said, yeah, I'm going to wear cream and white mixed. And I said, okay. Well, maybe I should text Tanya. So I text Tanya. I said, Tanya, what color are you wearing? And she said, white. So I thought, okay. So she wearing white. Well, here I am sitting in black sequins. I was told that 2 people were thinking about wearing white and I probably should reconsider. So I started toying with myself in my brain, like, should I stay here in this? I really like what I have on, should I change? Should I not change? Da-da-da. So I text Greg. And Greg said, if I were you, I would change. You look like a target. You look like a villain. You look like, a black sheep. And I said, oh, okay. Well, anyway, he don't know. Let me text Alvin. So I text Alvin. And Alvin said, get up and change. You should change. And Alvin is a friend of mine. And I thought, oh, they're starting though. They're already starting. And Greg texted me again. He said, did you get up and change? And I said, but they're starting. Like, dang, they're starting. I'm going to look like, jacked up. And he was like, I don't care. You should change. And I said, oh my God. Just as he started to talk about welcome to our first, viral reunion, I just said, oh, forget it. I'm getting up. Before we even get this started, I got up, ran in my closet, and was just in a frenzy, just looking for something white really fast that I think I'm going to look nice in like anybody else or, whatever. So from the gate, I hadn't laid out anything. So I think, okay, I'm just going to jump in something. So I just jumped into something. I had some earrings that were laying there. I was like, these will be great. Let me grab this. Like, I have a lot of clothes. I have a lot of jewelry. But, like anybody else, I would have wanted to be able to really lay out what I was going to wear. So I jumped in that and jumped back on camera. And as I was getting dressed in my closet, I said to myself, NeNe, listen, this was probably something that was supposed to throw you off. Don't let it throw you off. Go back in there. You're going to be fine. Just go on. Just go on. Just go out. Talk to myself because we haven't even started yet. And obviously, I'm human like anybody else, so I'm thinking to myself, this is messed up. This is really messed up. Like, why would, is it a coincidence? Is it a coincidence? I ask you, is it a coincidence that 6 people got on white? Is that a coincidence? And I was told to not wear white?
The gang up was so bad, NeNe ended up walking out of the reunion. And I can't say I blame her. I couldn't see myself sitting there for 12 hours being attacked constantly by everyone, which is what it seemed like. After NeNe walked out, this pissed Andy Cohen off. Now, Andy Cohen is NeNe's boss, and it placed NeNe in a very ambiguous position. Since the reunion aired, NeNe has been vocal about the gang up and her unfair treatment at Bravo. Following the recent Vanderpump Rules firing of multiple stars on that show for racism, NeNe has been on social media retweeting fans who want Andy Cohen, her boss, fired.
Until you do right by me, everything you think about is gonna crumble. Don't do it, Miss C.
I spoke to a local ATL source this week who spilled a lot of tea about what's really going on behind the scenes with NeNe and Bravo. And according to my rock-solid source, NeNe feels Bravo and Andy are racist. She's underpaid, and NeNe feels these people have been more racist than Stassi and Kristen, yet they're still employed. According to my source, NeNe wants more money and respect from Andy and Bravo. The source also said Andy is very petty and he's not on speaking terms right now with NeNe after she retweeted she wanted him fired. Plus, she walked out of the reunion and she's been shading him nonstop on social media. Andy is even low-key shading NeNe back by saying he spoke to Candy Burris. Andy spoke out about the recent firings of Stassi and Kristen on his Sirius XM radio show, Radio Andy. And he also alluded to more people being fired. In this statement is where he shades NeNe by mentioning he spoke to Candy.
there's so much happening in the Bravo universe. I will say this. So much talk about Vanderpump Rules. And then, of course, the reunion wound up airing last night. I will say this about what happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter.
Yeah, I absolutely support Bravo's decision. I think it was the right decision. And I want to remind people, because I've been getting so many tweets and messages and whatever about Vanderpump Rules and about Southern Charm and other shows. I feel like I remind people of this all the time. I'm not in charge of programming at Bravo anymore. I am not an executive producer of Vanderpump Rules. I don't have anything to do with the show except that I love it, and that I host the reunions. Hot
sheets from the day or like red flag. Like you don't
right.
get like meaning.
No, not
so
only
like,
do no,
like,
I'm not. I don't produce the show. So what I want people to know is I have no
get, like,
say in hiring and firing people. So and I really am only a producer of the Real Housewives and of Vanderpump Rules. So I'm sorry. I am only an EP of the Real Housewives and Watch What Happens Live. I just misspoke.
Well, let me ask you this. So, like, NeNe tweeted about, like, shall we start talking about other things, blah, blah, blah. Like, what about that tweet?
I didn't see that.
Like, should we start? She was like, oh, so we're going to talk about this. Should we do this publicly or privately? You know, and like, there's more to discuss. Not necessarily about her and her franchise.
Well, there is a lot
like
more
Bravo
to discuss. There is a lot more to discuss, and we're already having those discussions. And I had a great, very long talk with Candy 2 days ago about some really. She had some really fantastic suggestions for how we can move forward, and we're all ears.
After Andy made his comments about Candy, NeNe quickly clapped back by retweeting an article containing Andy's statement and added her own little quote. She said, "I find this interesting. Now, according to my inside source, some contracts, not all contracts, and I'll say that again, some contracts, not all, were emailed out this week. With the exception of Eva, who was fired, Kenya, Candy, Cynthia, and NeNe did not receive contracts because they're all still negotiating their contracts. Their attorneys and Bravo attorneys are going back and forth negotiating. The primary issue is they all want more money, like anybody would. In NeNe's case, Bravo also wants to fine her for her social media behavior. Basically, they're trying to put a muzzle on NeNe. They want to silence her. NeNe was not fired like a certain report stated this week. I'll repeat that. NeNe was not fired. That's just completely false. I've been told that Kenya Moore is the source of that rumor, but Bravo has released a statement denying that NeNe was fired. And I quote, "There is no truth to this story. NeNe was not fired and conversations for next season are still ongoing," a Bravo spokesperson told Essence Magazine on Thursday. Just to recap this report, Eva is fired, Cynthia is still negotiating her contract and might be reduced to a friend role because she really wants to be in California with her fiancé, Mike Hill. I really hope those two make it down the aisle. No shade. Kenya is still negotiating her contract. She wants more money than the current $500,000 that she's earning. And she has to somehow convince her alleged husband, Mark Daly, to appear on season 13. And that might be an uphill battle considering those two are not together. Candy is currently negotiating her contract. She also wants more money. Portia will return for season 13. She signed her contract. As for NeNe, again, she's not fired. The network wants her back. Her lawyers and Bravo are currently negotiating her salary. She wants more than the $2.8 million she's currently earning. And she wants more flexible terms of her contract. For Tanya, Sam, and Marlo, those two will be back as friends of the show. Tell me how you feel in the comments about NeNe returning for season 13. Also, tell me how you feel about Kenya Moore starting the rumor that NeNe was fired. And why do you think she started that rumor? Also, are you happy with the current cast? Who do you want to see come back? Who do you want to see gone? Who would you like to see added to the cast as a fresh face? I really want to hear from you guys. Please comment down below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel,